Now, I can't be the only one that finds it kinda messed up that the avatar for our overweight main character just happens to be a pig. Hey guys, the Black Critic Guy, back from my day at the beach, which was freaking awesome. And I'm here today to review the final anime for Action Month, and that is Accel World. So Accel World follows this overweight junior high school boy by the name of Haruyuki Arita, who gets bullied a lot at school, forcing him to retreat to the comfort of the virtual world. He later meets this girl whose true name is never revealed in the entire anime, but in the anime she goes by the name Princess Snow Black, and she introduces our main character to this virtual reality game called Brain Burst. And this game is quite unique for two major reasons. First off, only people that were born into the Link system, which is this device that they put around their neck and connects them to everything in this world, and had that integrated into them at a young age, can play this game, which means most adults aren't aware or can't even play this game. And secondly, this game enhances the people who play the game's abilities in real life through acceleration. So that means their mind gets accelerated, their skills get accelerated, everything. And together they fight enemies and level up to one day discover the secrets behind the accelerated world. Now, after watching and reviewing Sword Art Online, a lot of people asked me whether I was gonna watch and review Accel World since it was made by the same guy that made Sword Art Online. And honestly, I was very interested to see what this anime was about. I mean, I heard a lot of good things about it. I heard that the main character is actually a fat gamer, which got me really excited because every time I see an anime with a main character that's a gamer, he's so fucking skinny. I'm like, there's no fucking way. Maybe 1 out of 7 people that are true gamers are skinny, but most of us, we're not that skinny. I mean, God, I'm a little hefty, and I know a few of my gamer friends are hefty, so it was nice to see a good representation of a gamer, although we'll get into that a little bit. But I just finished watching the anime, and what do I think about it? I really like the anime. First things first, once again, the animation is solid in this anime. I love that they used a lot of vivid colors, and I did like the character designs, minus one character design that I will mention later on in this review. But for the most part, the animation is solid, especially during the action scenes. And speaking of the action scenes, the action in the anime is pretty thrilling, entertaining, and fun to watch for the most part. And one thing that I actually really loved and found very unique about the action scenes at first was each action scene had an emotional core to them. It wasn't just a fight to have a fight or an action scene just because we need to put an action scene. There was an emotional element to the fight scene that actually made me more invested in the fight and more invested in the main character winning said fight. Like, I really wanted the main character to win, and there was actually some emotional growth in some of these fight scenes. The story in this anime I found very interesting and engaging, and there are some similarities to Sword Art Online in this anime, but again, it's made by the same guy, and that's a moot point. But where this anime differs from Sword Art Online is the fact that in Sword Art Online, the creator of Sword Art Online trapped gamers in his game, and he kind of reveals the main purpose of his game midway through the anime. In this anime, the entire purpose of this game is the drive of the anime. Just trying to figure out what is the purpose of Brain Burst? Why did they create it? Why can only younger people play this game? It remains an enigma throughout the entire anime, making it very interesting, trying to understand why the creators made this game. I personally want to know. And through that interest, I became more invested in the characters' struggle and journey in the story because their interest and motivation is similar to my interest and motivation to continue watching the anime, which is finding out the purpose behind this game. So Gotta give it props there. And speaking of characters, I thought that most of the characters were pretty interesting, each one having a unique characteristic and an interesting backstory. Haru, the main character of the anime, is very interesting and dynamic for many reasons, one of them being the realistic representation of his character. I mean, he looked, acted, and felt like how most gamers would be in real life. Socially awkward, a little overweight, and very insecure. Not sexy, dreamy, looking good, thin body, and getting all the chicks, although he does kind of end up with a lot of girls in this anime, which was the only unrealistic part about him. But for most of it, he felt like a real, genuine gamer. I mean, he felt insecure about himself, he wasn't sure about himself, he really doubted whether or not this one person liked him, or whether or not he could do this one thing. He felt genuine. And he goes through a tremendous growth throughout the entire anime, becoming more confident in his abilities and facing threats head on, and I really love seeing that. Next, we got Haru's love interest, Princess Snowblack, and honestly, I just wish we could have known what her real name is. They kind of drop a subtle, very subtle hint at what it could be, and I'm guessing her real name is Yuki. Hopefully I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, don't really care. I really liked her character though. And also, she had this very interesting backstory that I really liked about how she was this prominent figure in Brain Burst, but after a huge incident occurred, had to go into hiding for 2 years. And she only resurfaced because Haru kind of convinced her. Really liked that backstory. I loved the design of the character. I loved her personality. She could be serious when she wanted to. She could be playful when she wants to. She could be lovey-dovey when she wants to. And her relationship with Haru is so heartfelt. I really felt a connection between these two, especially on her end. I mean, I never doubted her love for Haru. After this one event happened, and I believe episode 3, I never doubted her love for her. All my doubt went out the window after what she did in this episode. And honestly, is one of the most selfless acts I've ever seen in an anime that just really choked me up. I was really surprised by this scene. And the last main character that really stood out to me and I really liked was Taku, Haru's best friend. This guy goes through so much growth and development throughout this entire anime. And it's not just one time, it's like multiple times. He's probably one of the only characters, second to maybe Haru, who goes through the most growth and development throughout this entire anime. And I just loved every second of development of this character. He was so interesting. And I really liked his relationship and dynamic with Haru. I felt like they had a genuine friendship. It was really strong. They did have a falling out later on in the anime that I found very interesting and actually helped to develop their relationship even more. It was very interesting. And overall, just really liked his character. And lastly, although they didn't get a lot of development or even screen time, I did enjoy some of the secondary characters in the anime and found them rather interesting. A few that really stood out to me was, first off, Ash Roller, who is the first opponent that Haru faces, and he's this guy that rides this motorcycle and has a skull face. He's like the Ghost Rider without the flames. That's exactly what he's like. And I just love how this guy talks. He would be like, super lucky, mega lucky, mega unlucky, you. And he would always end, whenever he was talking to Haru, he would always end his sentence by saying, you. There's also the Red King, whose real name is Unico. I really loved her introduction in the anime. It was freaking hilarious, freaking badass. I love her personality, and I love her relationship with Haru as well, and she has a very interesting backstory. But as much as I really enjoyed this anime and found it very interesting, I do have a couple of problems with it, and coincidentally, many of these problems are very similar to the problems that I had with Sword Art Online. The first one being that the second half of this anime, although not terrible or uninteresting, there were some good elements to it, wasn't as compelling or interesting as the first half of this anime. I mean, instead of exploring and expanding the world of Brain Burst, the various rulers in it, and our main characters struggling to level up and find out the secrets of Brain Burst, which is what we came to see, the second half of this anime focuses on this really pointless and ridiculous side story about this one character that torments our main character Haru through various means. That's the entire second half. Now, that's not to say that there aren't some interesting elements or qualities to the second half. There are a few interesting ones, like for a brief moment in one episode, they do expand on the world of Brainburst, just for a little bit. And our main character does go through a dilemma in which he loses something very important to him, and he has to learn how to kind of cope with it and move on to face his enemy head on. He goes through some growth in there, and I found that very interesting. But we could have done this in the world of Brainburst, or even have him face one of the various rulers in the Brainburst that took away this special thing, instead of having this other character that is so pointless taking away something very important to him. I mean, it just didn't fit. It felt like they sidetracked the entire anime. But probably the biggest offense that the second half of this anime committed was they took my favorite character in the entire anime, Princess Snowblack, and freaking sidelined her for the duration of the second half of this anime. And yes, she does pop up now and again, and we do get 2 episodes showing what she did while the other characters were in the main story. It's just, those 2 episodes just felt like filler. You know, it doesn't add up to the rest of the story. It's just there to show us what she was doing. She didn't really have much to attribute to the second half of this anime, and it broke my heart. I wanted her to be in it more, and just to see her for a glimpse, not worth it. And the last thing that I really didn't like about the second half of this anime was the drama. I just found it so pointless, way over the top, and I just didn't care for the life of me. And the reason for that was because of the character that was at the epicenter of the drama, which is actually my next problem with this anime. And that character is Chiyu. I just really didn't like her character. I found her very pointless, only shoved into the anime to add this extra love interest for Haru and to add some drama that we really didn't need. She had one good scene, just one good scene, where she was having this emotional one-on-one with Haru that I thought was really good and really heartfelt and emotional. Other than that, didn't really care about the character. The character barely made a blip on my radar in this anime. She would pop in now and again just to, you know, be angry or cry or be emotional. I just didn't like her character. She was boring, she was dull, she was one-dimensional. Nothing about her was interesting. And going off of Chiyu, and also a similar problem that I had with Sword Art Online, I just really didn't like or even buy the multiple love interests for our main character Haru. I mean, couldn't we just stick with that one good one that he has with Princess Snowblack? I mean, it was already strong and dynamic. Why do we need to add more love interest? What, to throw comedy our way? I mean, we don't need it. It's just pointless. And to have these girls just jump on Haru all of a sudden, it just seems forced. And honestly, if Haru chooses another girl besides Snowblack, I would be really pissed. After what she did, you're gonna pick somebody else? You are an asshole, man. And again, another problem that I have with this anime that is very similar to a problem that I have with Sword Art Online is the fact that some characters would appear, then disappear for a very long period of time. And sometimes they never come back. One in particular, there's this one character, I don't even remember her name. She makes one appearance in the entire anime, and that's the last time you ever see her. That sucked because she had such an interesting power. She was a very interesting character. And yeah, she is a bit secretive, but it would have been nice to at least have seen her later on, or have her bump into the main characters again, and only her knowing the main character and him not knowing. That would have been interesting. Now, the last things I'm going to mention here are just irritations. I won't hold this against the anime because I kind of understood what they were trying to do. It just irritated me. The first thing that really irritated me was just too much talking during the fight scenes. I mean, the fight scenes were really cool, but I realized that they talk way too damn much in these fight scenes. I mean, sometimes it's all talking and little fighting, like fighting for 2 minutes, but talking for 7. And I was like, God, guys, could you just shut up and fight? The second irritation that I had with this anime was actually Haru's character design. I get what they were trying to do. They were trying to make the main character stand out in his character design compared to all the other characters. But the thing is, he stood out so much that he was not only a distraction, but he just felt out of place in the anime. Like, he was short, fat, chubby, he looked like a chibi character, like a cartoony character that you would see in like Shin-chan or something, while every other character besides him, and I mean every other character, were realistic looking, really tall, really chiseled. They looked like anime characters. So to see all of these like realistic looking characters and this one really short chibi fat character, it just was really bizarre. It was a bizarre character design, in my opinion, honestly. And lastly, I know what a lot of you may want to ask me now. Tony, what did you think about the anime's ending? Were you upset that the main story wasn't fully resolved? And to that, I have to say, no. I actually really enjoyed the last episode of this anime, because I thought the last episode did resolve not only the story that was being told in the second half, but also resolve some of the characters. I mean, it's not like Batum that ended so abruptly with no resolution at all. There was resolution in the final episode of Accel World that I found actually touching, and they did conclude the story in a point where it can continue, but if it was going to end there, it's a good ending. But overall, although I did have a couple of problems, I still really enjoyed Accel World. It had some good animation with some good action scenes that had a lot of emotion to them. The story is interesting and engaging, and the characters for the most part are all unique and likable. And I just really love the relationship between Haru and Snow Black. I just really want to know what her name is. Is it Yuki? I would love to know. And that's why I'm going to give this anime a 4 out of 5 stars. It's definitely worth watching, especially if you're a fan of Sword Art Online and this author. Definitely go check it out. But anyway, what did you guys think about this anime? Did you really like it? Or did you find it really boring and you really didn't care? And let me know, since this is the end of Action Month, what is your personal favorite action anime? Comment below and let me know. And stay tuned, I do have a movie review coming your way for Maleficent and A Million Ways to Die in the West. Really stay tuned for that video. I think you're gonna like it. I have a new video coming up on We Live Film on my top 5 favorite Disney villains. Check that one out. And also, as you all know, I have been nominated for a Geeky Award for Best Movie Reviewer. So if you would like to vote and let your voice be heard, I have a link in the description to the video in which you can vote and just put a comment and say who you want to vote for. Link will be there. And lastly, I have my monthly live chat coming up this Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So be sure to check all that out. And until then, guys, hit that subscribe button if you're new to my channel. Welcome to the Black Critic Guy. Like this video if you really enjoyed it. And I'm Tony Watt II, the Black Critic Guy. Till then, peace, YouTube.